everyone. This is Anthony,
I'm Ryan.
and we're here to talk about the Fabelmans today. All
Yeah.
right, let's get straight into it. The movie is set in the 50s and 60s. What did you think of it? Do you think they pull it off?
Thought it was only okay. We've reviewed a movie earlier in the chats, Mother's Instinct. I thought they did a significantly better job of doing the 50s and 60s feel. I almost felt like this could have just been a story told today setting. It didn't really have a 50s or 60s feeling about it. It was almost as if it was just playing it too safe.
Hmm, interesting. I have a bit of a different take on it. Yeah, it's funny because we picked movies that are set in that time era. We did Legend and we did Mother's Instinct as well. And I think for both, we've been impressed by the sets and saying, yeah, you can really feel this is the atmosphere and you can really buy it. And then I was thinking about it a bit more, and I think they were very aware that their set was so good that they needed to sort of like show it off. And sometimes the angles that they would choose will sort of come before the characters in the story just to show it off. And this is a Steven Spielberg movie, and it does things a different way. The sets are always like, very good and I think very accurate, but it doesn't take the forefront in the story. And if I'm saying that, is he made one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Minority Report. And in Minority Report, it's a futuristic world, but it never comes like at the foreground or takes away anything from the character and the story. So that's really his style. And I think he did that as well in this one of like, this is set in those years, but it doesn't take anything away from we're going to focus on the characters and the
I never
story.
thought, yeah, I never thought of that. That's actually a really good analogy.
Do you want to talk a bit more about Spielberg? What did you think of the cinematography?
The,
Movie in general is a bit about
I
his life as
I
well.
don't think I respect it as much as you do. I tried to kind of see if there was anything that really stood out to me, but then I saw how obviously Sammy is Steven Spielberg when he was younger, and how just the little things like how the train was moving that inspired him to obviously film certain angles the way he liked to film it. And so I actually I found that I was respecting him more as a filmmaker through Sammy's eyes to see that's the way he can see those kind of things that I can't see those kind of things. So I've got a lot of respect for that.
That's great. You can really tell this is his movie. There is the hallmarks of Spielberg that sometimes goes whimsy, but can be a little dark too. You get the halo light as well. He loves in all his movies to shot halo lights, like and it's very bright and it's sort of engulf the room and it's coming from an angle. It's riddled with that. That's really his style. And it's nice. It looks nice. It's just like, yeah, that's a Spielberg movie. Um, and what really struck me as well is when they are watching those home movies or the movies that he makes is they are not necessarily showing the movies as if we were watching it with them. It's focusing on the characters watching the movie, and you can really tell their emotion. I don't remember which one he's showing. I think he's showing the one where he uncovers that his mom's get feelings for his dad's best friend, and he shows that to his mom, and they're watching it, and you can see the emotion just growing on her. And I think that's actually very, very powerful. And I think a lot of other filmmakers would have shown the movie or cut back and forth between the reaction and showing the movie, but here is just a long shot focus on the reaction of the audience. And I think that was very, very strong. It really engrossed me in the movie, and I really loved it. So one of my favorite things about it.
There's a couple of story points that went into the movie. There's two that primarily stick out to me. One was the bullying storyline that happened later in the movie. And obviously spoiler alert, I suppose, the mum's affair.
Yeah.
One was foreshadowed a little bit. Did you kind of pick the foreshadowing of the affair, or is that something that...
Yeah. And funny enough, I watched it with my wife, and straight away in one of the first few scenes, I was like, there is something off. My wife said, nah. And then it
Yeah,
comes.
because
Did you notice it?
well, I was writing my notes as I was going through it because it was when they were moving to Texas, or where is it? They were moving to Arizona,
Arizona,
and
yeah.
Mitzi, Michelle Williams, was, what about Benny?
Honestly, Bert, sometimes I want to shake you. You're going to leave him behind with just a shrug? Mommy.
And I thought, that's a bit weird. Why is the wife caring so much about the best friend? And then obviously the fingernails on the piano scene where I was like, all right, there's something, this is a little bit too friendly here. And then obviously we will learn that they're having strong feelings for each other, which is a topic that we can talk about in a second as well.
Yeah.
The bullying storyline, I was wondering where that was going to go. I felt that, I don't know if it ended a bit anticlimactically. Obviously, where Sammy's obviously showing the video of one of the bullies. It's like, well, I've always been mean to you. Why are you being nice to me? So,
Yeah. I didn't really like that. That's for me the weakest point of the movie.
yeah.
I thought it was a weird resolution that doesn't necessarily make sense on the human level. I mean, there is a couple of things. So in the movie that he makes, first of all, that there are two bullies, and one of them in the movie, Sammy makes him look ridiculous, which doesn't feel right. It's just, okay, well, you are answering bullying by escalating the bullying in something bringing on your turf. But the other guy, you make him look like a hero. It comes across, it's a bit calculated. It doesn't really make sense. And then the guy, like the joke, the other that he make look good in the movie, sort of like reacts weirdly to it. Just like, what did you do that to me? Nah, I'm not like that. And then he's happy about it and defends him. You could have simplified that and make it a lot more believable by just, first of all, don't make the other bully ridiculous. Just keep him out of the movie. And the other guy, make him look good. And as Sammy is saying, is like, make him come and say, why did you do that? I'm not nice to you. And for Sammy to say, I don't know, maybe it's because for you to stop being an asshole to me for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they can just be okay moving forward, because there is something around bullying and kindness to answer to bullying being a bit of a wild card and usually works.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been much better. It was weird storytelling for me, at least.
I guess it was obviously because I've read up on it. It's what actually happened to Steven Spielberg himself, and I think the bully himself has like maybe spoken to Steven since it happened, and it's like, was that me? But yeah, I think it's But I didn't love it. I thought that was probably the weakest point in the movie as well.
Nice. What about the affair?
Yeah, so I wrote some. You almost do understand why she did what she did. The husband was so wrapped up in work and only really saw Sammy's filmmaking as a hobby. He never really nurtured the kids and stuff like that. So you almost understand why she did what she did. is having an affair the right thing to do? No, it's not. So I'm on the fence. I, I think and it's just for the fact that it was Michelle Williams is such a great actress. She did such a good job in this movie, and you do empathize with her a bit, I think.
Yeah. I think that part was very well done.
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning, the affair, when it's foreshadowing and there is really subtle touches, I really like that because it's not easy to pick on it. It could be something or it could be nothing. They lean a little too much into it, like, as it grows, where there is no doubt. There is definitely like, something, and not even trying to hide it, to the point that the father comes across a bit oblivious. It's just like, come on, dude, you know that there is something. You need to realize it. You can't just be that wrapped up in your work, or yeah, just very oblivious to everything. But I kind of understand, like, both. I understand, especially because Mitzi is pushing boundaries, you feel, with him, because he's always showering her with niceness. Even she's saying, when I'm mean and I don't deserve it and we have a fight, your father buys me a new dress.
I can't fight with your father. He kills with such kindness. I mean to him, he buys me a dress from Saks.
And that's not what she needs. On paper, he's perfect, but he's not connecting on an emotional level with her as the best friend is. And eventually, she's just not happy with him. So I understand why they do decide to divorce. I feel sorry for the guy, but I do understand where she's coming from as well. And I think this is what the movie is all about, as you were saying, treating like filmmaking as a hobby. It's really everything logic versus emotion or artistry. That's really the underlying theme of it.
Yeah. All right. In terms of performances, we obviously have Michelle Williams. I can't speak highly enough. She's able to just change her entire voice to match a character. Have you seen All the Money in the World?
No.
So that's where it's based on a true story, and she's just able to change her entire tone of voice in that movie, and it's just the cadence, and she just becomes that character. And she did here again. You can understand why, one, she got top billing, two, she got nominated for an Academy Award. I just think, yeah, she's very well deserving of an Academy Award. Someone give her one.
She's fantastic, and I think she's still underrated. I think a lot of people still like see her as the girl from Dawson's Creek. Yeah. And she definitely grew out of it. Another movie I was telling you that I saw her in was Blue Valentine, where she blew me away. And this movie, The Fabelmans, I thought that she was absolutely amazing. She makes the character very, very likable, even though sometimes she maybe shouldn't be that likable.
Yeah. I really wish we had more of Judd Hirsch. I know that he got nominated for a Best Supporting Actor in it. When he came on, I thought he was going to stay around for a while, but he was only in it for about 10 minutes. I was like, is less sometimes more? Sometimes you want a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, it was good. It was an interesting, colorful character to enter the picture, even if it was short. He left an impression.
Yeah.
How
did you find Paul Dano as the dad? What's your thoughts on that?
Look, I think he's good. Weirdly enough, I don't think he's a bad actor.
Yeah.
But I would say that Paul Dano is a little bit overrated. There is no movie, maybe when he was younger, Little Miss Sunshine, I think I thought he was very, very good in it. other movies, I think he's good, but he has never blew me away. Never blown me away.
Yeah, I thought he was
What did
just a
you
little
think?
bit. I thought he was a bit miscast here as well.
Mm,
If anything, a little bit too young for this role. Like
actually.
he's like, I mean, he's my age, so he's 40, but when he made this, he was only about 37 or 38. Maybe just a little
Mm.
bit too young for a role like this at that age. That's just how I felt.
Yeah, it was not the strongest. I mean, even Seth Rogen is, I think he's a bit more memorable,
Yep.
and not necessarily like, the usual Seth Rogen shtick that he usually does. It was actually quite good in this role.
Yeah.
When it comes to, we talk about story point now, let's talk about story arcs. I think we have two very distinct story arcs in the story. We have Mitzi and we have Sammy. What did you think of their story arcs? What did you like? What didn't you like?
I think I liked pretty much most of what Michelle Williams did. What she brought to the table was really good. So yeah, I just don't think I can fault. I don't think I've got a fault for her. I didn't love the Sammy storyline. It was it was fine, but I'm kind of glad that he wasn't the main character. It almost did feel like it was Mitzi's movie, not Sammy's movie. So I liked that.
I fully agree. Um, Sammy is the main character, but at the end of the day, there's nothing that special. He's a kid and he likes movies, but his parents are getting a divorce and he's moving around a lot and he grew up Jewish and ends up in an environment where there is not many Jewish people and he feels discriminated against. Um, okay, it's not the same as what Mitzi actually goes through. I think she's a much more interesting character. Obviously, she's got mental health um, issues because putting your kids in the car and chasing a storm is not something that a healthy mother would do. And then at some point, she's also very depressed when they are moving away and she doesn't have Benny around her anymore. And she's like sleeping, but eventually she grows out of it and she sees a therapist. She gets back into doing the piano. She understands that she's not happy in her marriage and she's taking actions to change that. So she does truly have an arc and evolves as a very interesting character.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
All right. So out of five, what would you rate this one?
Yeah, funny enough, before we started recording, I was like thinking, oh, maybe a four, but talking more about the good points of the movie, I would put a 4 out of 5. I don't think it's a perfect movie, but on an emotional level, I really connected with it. And that's very good. That's what you want from a movie. How about you?
I was leaning towards a 4.5. I think I'm just going to have to scale it back just ever so slightly back to a 4 as well. Yeah, very good movie. Very, very strong recommend from me. I think everyone should give this one a watch.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, thank you for that. See you next time. Please like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Will do. Take care, everyone.